Good morning. Magandang umaga po. A lot of people were asking me, rightfully so, what's going on in the Philippines? The Philippines is so messed up. It's about the requirement to have a Philippine passport before you exit the Philippines. That's what we're going to talk about. Stay with me. There were lots of confusion about the so-called requirement to get your passport while you're in the Philippines. I'm talking about Philippine passport. That is, if you do not have a passport, because we got so used to traveling, going to the Philippines with only the US passport and identification certificate of your dual citizenship. That's all we used to present. We were not required to have a passport. Then something came up on the internet and it caused a lot of confusion, maybe caused by me. But what can I say? I saw it there. I published it after I inquired twice, verbally, over the phone, and through email, and I was told, yeah, that is required. Meanwhile, the other consulates were not doing it. Then, I'm talking about other consulates in the United States. Then I heard from someone in the Philippines that, oh, it's coming now because Philippine Airlines refused to give them a ticket or to sell them a ticket because they don't have a Philippine passport. So how do I know the truth? And why is this thing happening in the in the Philippines? Good question. But some of you are mad because we don't have a system, we're a third world country. And in some ways I do agree, but in some ways it's also happening here in the United States. Now Thanksgiving is coming up. Did you hear this argument in New York? The governor of New York State came out with a law that says when you celebrate Thanksgiving, limit it to only 10 people, no more than 10 people for the celebration. He's dictating to the people that you should not have more than 10. So if you have a family of 20, 30 people, you cannot have a party, okay? You have to limit it to 10. That's the law, he says. Well, the sheriff in New York, I can't remember if it's Suffolk County, one of the counties in New York, just simply refused it. He refused to enforce that law because it's unconstitutional, he said. And by the way, this guy is a former judge, he's an attorney. So he said, I cannot do that, I cannot enforce that. What do you want me to do, Governor Como? He's saying. If somebody calls me complaining that there are more than 10 people in that house, you want me to come in? I will need to have a subpoena to get in. Otherwise, I cannot just get in there. I can ask their permission if they let me in. But what are you gonna do? Do you want me to arrest these people? I don't have the right to do that. That is their right, what they want to do in their home, unless it's something illegal. It's in their home. Okay? Now, is it now illegal because you came up with that law? That is his argument. As you can see, oh, and also I understand CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control, I think, CDC. They said that it should be limited to the people who are normal members of that household. So if you only have 2 in the household, that's all you have. If you have 40 in the household, that's all you can have. It's all kinds of rules as to what to follow to celebrate Thanksgiving. So you can see people fighting, you don't know which one is right, which one is wrong, which one to follow, and so forth and so on. It's also happening. So here we have, in the Philippines, we have this Department of Foreign Affairs issuing this requirement for a passport, and there is the embassies or the consulates, the immigration, who is supposed to enforce this, and they're not following it. So we are confused. What do we follow? Anyway, the people who will be at the immigration are going to be the immigration people, not the Department of Foreign Affairs. And most of the Philippine consulates are saying, no, you don't need a passport. So what I will suggest to you is don't need a passport. But you have to argue and argue hard in case you get stopped because of that advisory. But I'm willing to bet the chance of you getting stopped is probably only 5%, but 95% of the time will probably be okay going to the Philippines with only the US passport and your certificate of dual citizenship that you can bring with you. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. This is what I want to cover, which is what you should do, and that what is happening in the case of the Philippines is not really unusual when you're dealing with the government. The left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. All right? So, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Make it a great day.